Yo, I remember, I want to say we was about 14, 15, right? My homeboy, his mother used to get a lot of money in the hood. So he had massive shit. He had the Air Force Max, the white, black, and like the bluish purple color, penny warm. This is the picture right here, right? He had them shits on. And this day, right? My cousin had never seen Menace to Society. So niggas was like, yo, I want to watch Menace. I ain't feel good, so I'm like, yo, I'm going in the crib and shit. So my homeboy who had those Air Force Max on was like, yo, I'm about to come through with you too. I don't feel like going in the house. But my cousin was pressing the issue like, yo, nah, I want to see Menace, man. I ain't never get to see it. You know, this is around the time where a lot of people didn't have cable and shit like that. So he never got to see it. My homeboy had it on VHS, so they went to his crib to watch Menace and shit. I went home. Next morning, my cousin beeping me 911. I call him back. I'm like, yo, what's good? He was like, nigga, yo, they raided the crib last night, yo. My mom had to come get me from the station and shit. He like, yo, he in the youth house talking about our friend and shit. So, make a long story short, when you go to the youth house, juvenile detention, they would take your shoelaces to make sure like you wouldn't harm yourself or shit like that. So he gets out like a day or two later. And mind you, he might have wore them sneakers like two times. Now, bro, we 14, 15 years old at the time, right? So he like, yo, man, fuck that. I ain't wearing these shits again. They didn't give him the laces back. I don't know why. He's like, I ain't wearing these shits no more, man. Fuck them shits. And I felt him on that shit. I'm like, yo, yeah, the sneakers don't look the same when you switch. Like the laces that came with the Nikes and shit like that didn't look like the laces you would have to get back then. And I'm talking about this is 94, maybe turning 95. It's around that time. It wasn't advanced like it is now. You got these sneaker cleaners, you got good laces and shit like that. We was dealing with the bare minimum. And yeah, so we wasn't too fond on that. Once the laces get fucked up, it's over for the sneakers. Like, and then at that time, we wasn't fucking our laces up. You may have to clean them up, but as far as like the tips getting broken off and all that shit, that was little kid shit. Like once niggas hit middle school and it was they infatuated with girls and all that, it was over for all that. I do remember though, like when them retros first hit early 2000s, like niggas was definitely swapping their laces crazy, like the fives and sixes, all that. They would put different color laces in. And Foot Locker was selling them rope laces with two different colors. I wasn't with that shit. That wasn't my speed. I despise when people was putting two pair of laces in their sneakers and their boots. That shit was terrible to me. Like I said, that's just my personal opinion. I wasn't with none of that shit. I don't know what made that shit pop into my head just a few minutes ago, but you know, there's so many different elements to the sneaker world and the sneaker culture. Like, look at that. The shoelaces is just one element alone. From having to swap your laces if your laces was messed up, it made the sneakers look funny. To people purposely changing their laces to make the sneaker, I guess, look cooler for them. And of course, lacing the sneaker. You know, they call it a couple different things. X's. I just called it skipping holes. I want to say the first time I remember seeing that specifically with a sneaker in my hood was like 92. Jordan 7s, Air Force 1s. I seen a lot of people doing that. That shit was major. Skipping laces was major. It was no method to doing it. You know, people would do skip every other hole, and then that shit turned into skip a whole row and just have super long laces. especially when the denim was super baggy and people wanted their laces to show under their jeans. It's all types of ways people did that shit. Let's get into how the baggy pants over the sneaker was murdering sneakers. That fucking dye from that denim get on your sneaker. Oh man, murder she wrote. Another disgusting one was when people was tying their pants in their sneaker. Oh man, that was a bad look. Yo, as much fly shit as we went through some rough patches. That right there was bad, yo. That is definitely something I did not partake in. Your pants be inside the fucking laces of your sneakers looking like a knot, looking like the knot in the bread bag in your kitchen. You know what I mean? When you tie the knot in the bread bag, that's how that shit used to be looking to me. Yo, let's get back to the lace up though, right? When me and my niggas used to be in the hallway or in the mall and we see girls and we checking them out, the lace up on the sneaker would speak a lot. Yo, I remember some girls came over, right, from another town. We had bagged at the rink or some shit like that. So they came through, right? Yo, one girl had her laces tucked in her sneaker behind the tongue with the tongue in the back of the denim. Now, you know Jim Jones called it tongue fucking or whatever, but that was major too. It's a lot of pictures where we put our jeans behind the tongue of our sneakers, but the sneakers was supposed to be tied, not your laces tucked in. Yo, that was a no, tucking in the laces. That was a demographic thing that I don't even want to get into. You know what I mean? I'll leave that alone. But if you know, you knew. Only certain people was known and infamous for tucking their laces in and having their tongue all big and shit. But you would be able to tell by the way a chick kicks was laced, like what she was into and if she was official from the rip. Like you'll be able to tell. Don't get me wrong. I met some fly chicks with a bad lace-up game too. We had to get them right. But the ones that knew how to lace them up from the rip, yeah, they was 90% of the time on point, yo. Then it was just certain fly chicks that they ain't do none of the skipping holes. They just rock this shit lace regular, but right. They pants and shit fell right on the sneakers. So it was many different ways. But that's some shit we definitely paid attention to from the rip. We see a chick in the mall, her face card valid. It's like, oh, all right, let me see what she got on her feet. You know what I mean? And then you work your way up. But that footwork had to be right at all times. So my county, Bergen County, right? A lot of people migrate from New York out here. Like, their parents end up moving them out here. So their style was different. They was advanced. So a lot of those people that ended up moving over here, like certain kids, certain guys, we ended up getting mad cool because I knew shit that they wouldn't expect, like a kid from Jersey, because they looking at it like, yo, this the burbs. The average person from New York always think if it's not Jersey City or Newark or like Camden, like Jersey don't got their parts. Like, yeah, like don't get it fucked up. Like, it's like everywhere else, man. It's blocks that get it popping. The whole town might not be like that, but it's definitely blocks within the towns that do what they do. But basically, I'm saying that to say that we were able to end up getting cool with niggas from the city that would come to the school, and the chicks that would come from the city to the school was automatically like fucking with us because how we was moving and shit. You could tell the difference. Like, it wasn't no hype shit back then, but it was sort of a little bit. So like the average chick might have on some Jordans. The advanced chicks is gonna have on Air Max Sensations, Barclays, Air Forces, like a bunch of different shit. You know what I mean? Mixed in with they 5411s and shit like that. Now, when them girls from New York would come, they would have high top Air Forces, all the crazy colors we would have, laced up, crazy, same way we would lace them up, rocking the strap, crazy like they swag was just different. Shit was to the gods. So that automatically would motivate. You had some people that would hate, but it would motivate people from that was born and raised here or already from out here to step they shit up when they see the new kid come in and the new kid is fly as fuck. Shit, that shit was motivating to me. Like, whether it was a chick or a nigga, like that shit was mad motivating. You be like, oh, all right, I see how they coming. They on they shit. And you know what I mean? Like, it was a friendly competition, but for me, it was motivating. It was never about hating. Yo, when you got a certain amount of self-esteem for yourself, you just gonna know, like, it's no reason to hate. Even when your self-esteem might not be that high, it's still not no reason to hate. Like, you gotta know that you capable of what you capable of. And I think now, like, that shit is lacking because everybody is like on some Mr. Me Too shit. When I say everybody too, I don't mean everybody. I mean like a vast majority. It's not about like really being first no more or setting a new trend. It's like, oh, such and such got that, I'm about to get that. And don't get me wrong, to an extent, like certain stuff we did, but we always did it different, right? So like starter, the Parker, for instance, everybody has starters. The most popular, I want to say, was like a Raiders. It was a couple others, but the Raiders was big, right? But everybody didn't want to get the Raiders. Like, people that was on their shit, it was like, nah, I'm not getting that one. I'm going to bust out with something else. Like, one of my homeboys, he had Miami Hurricanes. You know what I mean? Older cousin had Syracuse Orangemen. I bust out with the Tar Heel shit, North Carolina, because I fucked with that color blue, and I had got the sport blue sixes, so it just ran concurrent crazy. I wouldn't do that shit now, because thinking back, it's like, god damn, I really ain't have mad shit to rock with that coat. But now you'll see 900 of the same exact outfit with the same exact sneaker, and it's like, that shit is just swaggerless. And that was like a sin. That was an unwritten law, like, amongst the overlords of Fresh. Like, it was a sin to be swaggerless. Like, you had to have style, you had to have charisma, you had to have pizzazz. Like, you just had to. It's some shit that can't be taught. You could teach it to an extent, but some things are just within. And some of us adapt and grasp things faster than other people, which would hence make us advance in a sense. But I would never feel no type of way if somebody had the sneakers that I had, because I was just going to do it different. Like, that was just what it was. You're going to bump into people that have the same sneakers that you have. But the same fit? Nah, we not doing that. We not doing the same fit. Yo, even having girlfriends back then, it was like, yo, nah, we not dressing on no twin shit. You know what I mean? Some people thought that was cute. Some people wore dope shit together, and yeah, it was cute on them, but that wasn't going to be cute on me and mine. We wasn't rocking the same thing. I might buy a shorty some shit that I got, like, same kicks, but nah. Even then, I don't even really think I did that like that. That shit would bug me out to see couples dressed alike now going into 2024. Hey, yo, yeah, I'm going to get into next episode. We going to end the year off with my top picks of 2023. And I'm gonna put my 5, but then I'm gonna put some honorable mentions. Just, I'm gonna do it different though. I'm gonna do it not only the shit that I fuck with, but shit that I don't fuck with, but I see why it's a top sneaker. I think that's important. Like, it's not only just about solely what you like, but the impact that certain shoes had on the times. But also, it's also about what you like. At the end of the day, that's what separates all of us, and that kind of helps bring back that feeling. That was an advantage of hustling young too, because getting that fast money, you was able to get shit that your parents would tell you no or you couldn't afford, right? So that alone gave you an advantage over your peers. So when sneakers is dropping, let's say some fucking Barclays or something came out today, it's like, oh, all right, I'm copping those today. Then tomorrow it's like, fuck it, I got the Timbs on. The day after that, new color Air Force Ones drop. Oh yeah, I got those too. You know what I mean? That weekend you see some Jordans. Oh yeah, I got those. And you outside with all that shit on, different fit to match it, all of that. So that was the advantage. Like, I missed that motivation of coming outside and it'd be a dice game on the corner, and as you walking up, you see some hill figure shit and some kicks you ain't never seen yet, but a nigga got them on. You'd be like, yo, what the fuck? You know what I mean? You'd be like, yeah, them shit is crazy. You know? Or you might be silent and just be looking and be like, alright, I'm going to get some shit. You know what I mean? You might come up in the dice game, or you might go post up down the block, cut the sales off before they come up towards the dice games, and then you dip right off to the mall, come out with some new shit on. Like, it was one kid, it shocks me now that he rocked mad fake shit and reps and just, I don't know, he lost it. You know what I mean? But I'm going to leave him anonymous. But when we was young, he was younger than me. And his mom used to get money too. She ended up going to prison. So he jumped off the porch at a very young age and he took flight. Like, I'm talking about flight. Always had fly shit. Had a car young as hell. He wasn't even old enough to drive and he had a car and shit. Yo, I'll never forget, he came to school with the Columbia 11s on, the white shits, with the fucking the like that same Columbia blue leather. Yo, the bitches went crazy. And it was like he did that, and then you ain't really see him with that shit on like that after that. He just bust out with other different shit on. Then he ended up doing like a juvenile. Oh, he got caught up in New York, so he had to do a bit in Spofford. But it was all about motivation back then and motivating one another. You know what I mean? Like, you see something, you get motivated to come with some other fly shit, not look like the same person or look like a mannequin and do that dumb shit that the memes do now, like the Spider-Man meme where everybody point at each other.